Don't be a single agent because people are going to forget you're in real estate. It's not their job to remember, it's your job to remind them. And why
Mhm.
I'm going down this path is they might think that, hey, I need to do all this stuff before I even start looking. I need to do XYZ. You are the responsible. You have that fiduciary duty to educate them on the market and educate them on the steps of how to buy or sell their home. They might be more ready now than they think. They might be ready right now. And you could make their day and give them all this good news, right? So that's what we're talking about with nurturing their relationship. All right, let's talk about something that's costing agents thousands of dollars every single month. And most of them don't even realize it. It's not their marketing, it's not their lead gen, it's not even their conversion skills, it's their database.
Exactly. And here's the thing that most agents really think that their CRM is working for them. But when you actually look inside their follow boss or whatever system that they're using, it's a complete mess.
Mhm. Leads stuck in the wrong stages, overdue tasks piling up, past clients who haven't been touched in 18 months, tags that don't mean anything, and smart lists that are not actually smart.
And the worst part is that they are working hard, they're making the calls, they're following up, they're doing everything they're supposed to be doing, but they're following up with the wrong people at the wrong time.
So today we are breaking down exactly how to optimize your database so that nothing falls through the cracks. Because if it's not in your CRM, it didn't happen. And if your CRM is a mess, your business is a mess.
Let's fix it.
Okay. Welcome back to the Reside Platform Podcast. I am Lauren Holland, the Director of Client Experience here at Reside. And today I'm sitting down with Brooke, our Client Success Manager, who works hands on with agents and teams every single day, helping them optimize their follow up boss systems. Brooke, did I say your last name correct?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
thank God.
And Lauren
I
and
do
I
it
have
all
known
the
each
time.
other for a very
I
long
know her
time. So
maiden name. I can say
yeah,
that all the time.
my last name used to be different, but yeah, no, thanks for having me on this one, Lauren, specifically. I know we've done some great subjects recently that have been helpful for some leaders, but I'm glad that we today are talking about optimizing your database.
Yes, me too. Brooke, before we dive in, why does this matter so much? Because I think a lot of agents here optimize your database and they think it's just admin work.
Yes. And that's the problem because they
Mhm.
think that it's just busy work and they don't have the time for it. But really, the reality is that your database is your business and it has every lead that you've talked to, every client that you've ever closed, every conversation that you've ever had with a lead. It all lives in your CRM.
Right. And if that system's not organized, you're literally losing money.
Yeah, exactly. Because when leads are falling through the cracks, you're not just losing the one deal, you're losing the referrals that they could have sent you, you're losing the repeat business, and you're really losing that compounding effect of the relationships.
Okay. So today we're walking through that exact framework we use at Reside to help our agents and team optimize their databases. So whether you're using Follow Up Boss, KV Core, Lion Desk, any other CRM, these principles are going to apply.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into it.
Me too. So your this is going to be called your CRM reflects your habits. So we're going to start with the mindset shift because I think that most agents look at their CRM as a tool, but it's more than that, right, Brooke?
Absolutely. And it is a tool, but it's way, way more. Your CRM is really just a mirror to you and your business. It's going to reflect your habits, your discipline, and really your consistency overall.
Okay. So you're saying if your CRM is messy,
Your business is messy.
okay. Okay.
Absolutely. And if your follow-up is inconsistent in your CRM, it's going to be inconsistent in real life, right? And if your
Mhm.
stages don't make sense and your pipeline doesn't make sense, it all becomes a jumbled sort of mess that's really hard to decipher.
Yes. And here's what we see all the time. Agents say, I don't have enough leads. But when we look at their database, they have 300 people that they haven't talked to in about 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. And that means that you don't have a lead problem, you have a follow-up problem. And that follow-up problem starts with how your database is organized. Before you go into, oh, we need more leads, we need to purchase more leads, our agents are saying that we don't have enough. I dare you to pull up your follow boss or your whatever CRM you're using and look at those contacts that haven't been communicated with in over 30 days, and you can start there to see, do we actually have a lead problem, or is it the follow-up problem?
So good. We double dog dare you to go
Yeah.
do that. Look at that data.
Triple dogs.
So, Brooke, walk us through what the goal is here. What does an optimized database actually look like?
Yeah, I think so. An optimized database really has three main things. You're going to have clarity, so you know exactly where every lead is in the journey. You're going to have consistency, so your follow up is going to happen automatically based on smart lists and action plans. And then third, you want that visibility, so you can see at a glance what actually needs your attention today.
Okay. So when you have those three things, nothing falls through the cracks, is what you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay. Let's break this up into parts. So let's call this the foundation.
Mhm.
Stages show where a lead is in the journey because this is where, with smart lists, or I'm sorry, with stages, most databases fall apart. Brooke, walk us through it. What are stages and why do these matter?
I would say that stages are going to show where your lead is in the journey right now, not what you're doing with them, not how they found you, but just where are they right now in the journey.
Okay. So most agents have way too many stages, right?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I've seen databases with 20 plus, 50 plus, I mean, crazy amounts of stages. And half of them are duplicates or so vague that they don't really mean anything.
Okay. Give us some examples like what?
So I've seen things like unknown, maybe, interested, kind of hot.
Mhm. Okay. Tell me
Yeah.
more. Kinda
Yeah.
hot, but
Yeah.
funny.
Seriously. Seriously, those are some I've seen. And no judgment, because no judgment at all if those that is something that you have. It's just that the problem is when your stages are vague, your agents don't know what to do with them.
Mm,
If you go in and you're confused by what each stage means, your agents are going to have no idea how to qualify, and they're not going to know what your stages mean either.
yeah, and I think this really goes into even if so I use this tool called Boomerang in my inbox.
Mhm.
That's how I like to try to achieve inbox 0 at the end of my
Mhm.
day. So sometimes I'll boomerang an email so that it comes back to me, and then I forget why I have it coming back to me. Or if
Mhm.
notes on anything you do, like why this is in your calendar, make sure you're putting correct stages. Brooke, what's the solution here?
I always say keep it as simple as possible. So, what I typically recommend for our teams within Reside is to have really eight main stages. Again, my goal really is to keep it as simple as possible. I would say 10 or less, really. So, I like to say lead. So, this is going to be your automatic stage that when a lead comes in, it's just going to be lead, which means that it's new, they're unqualified, you haven't spoken with them just yet to qualify them. And all new leads are really going to start there.
Okay.
And then second, I always recommend your hot stage. So this is going to be 0 to 3 months. They're ready soon. They're conversion focused. And then you have nurture, which is pretty much anything 3 plus months out. It's a longer timeline. So this is going to really require those drips and check-ins.
Mhm.
Now, I want to specify this piece a little bit, because what I see a lot within databases is they might have hot, warm, cold, icy cold, and have all these different things that really mean the same thing. So that's what we're talking about here. So I like to, again, define that into two different ways. We've got hot, which is your 0 to 3 months. Everything that's more than that is going to be your nurture. It all really means the same thing. If you're looking at that 3 plus months. And most databases, they have a time frame field. So that's what you want to use to really identify what is that time frame exactly, because you can filter by that. So you don't want to use your stages necessarily to identify the time frame. You've already got that field. So that's where I like to just categorize it in the two options. Is it 0 to 3 months, or is it more than 3 months?
That is really smart.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
anybody listening, please go back and make that an SOP if you're documenting everything, which you should be operationalizing this. Brooke, again, how do you do that?
with creating the document, really creating the SOP there, again, keep it as simple as possible and make it to where it's very easy to qualify. Again, how easy is it to say, let's talk about the difference
Yeah.
here. Let's say, okay, if I said, okay, I'm looking in 6 months, would you think that would be a hot, nurture, warm, cold, or icy cold?
mean, I'd say it's warm because at 6 months is, well, okay. Like, obviously, that's a nurturing relationship because it's over 90 days, but I would say to start looking now, making sure that they're pre qualified for everything, right?
Absolutely. But there's
Okay.
some ambiguity there, right?
Yeah.
Like you're like, it could fit into warm, it could fit into nurture, it could fit over here. So that's why I'd like to keep that all in one category of just a
Smart.
general, we're nurturing them. They're not ready right this moment, but we want to have them on some sort of nurture plan. And who's to say that an icy cold lead or a cold lead that's looking in 12 plus months isn't ready in 3 months? If you've been in the business for a little bit, you've already realized that those that say, oh, yeah, I'm looking in 6 months, you go to check on them 6 months later and they're like, oh, I just bought a month ago with another
Yeah.
agent. So you want to get ahead of it and treat them, even if they do say I'm looking in 12 months, you still want to treat them like they are looking in a sooner time frame.
Right. And I want to highlight something too. The nurturing the relationship, they might not be educated enough yet. And there's no judgment in me saying that, educated on the market and knowing steps, right? You do this every single day. It's kind of like when we talk about don't be a single agent because people are going to forget you're in real estate. It's not their job to remember, it's your job to remind them. And why
Mhm.
I'm going down this path is they might think that, hey, I need to do all this stuff before I even start looking. I need to do XYZ. You are the responsible. You have that fiduciary duty to educate them on the market and educate them on the steps of how to buy or sell their home. They might be more ready now than they think. They might be ready right
Yeah.
now, and you could make their day and give them all this good news, right? So that's what we're talking about with nurturing the relationship. I
Mhm.
think we used to use this term, at least I did. I never really separated lead generation from lead nurture. So I
Mhm.
would say you are lead generation is because we qualify a lot of this as lead gen. Yes. And I would say lead generation is getting new leads. So, you're door knocking, you are calling cold circle prospecting, calling cold leads and whatnot. That's lead generation right there. Lead nurturing is what we talk about a lot, auditing your database. That's what we're referring to, right? So I know we're going to review the stages again because we totally got off topic, but
There's really
um,
that's probably the most important piece of that is what I see is where it gets complicated. So that's why we
mhm,
went down that rabbit hole a little bit is that's where it gets the most complicated for teams is having, like
exactly.
you said, that lead generation versus the actual like nurturing your leads. And again, yeah, really just all to say if you're nurturing them, treat them all the same. It's like you said, they might be ready sooner than what you think. They might just not have the resources. So we don't want to, even though they tell us we're ready in 12 months, you don't want to wait 12 months to actually see where they're at because if they're already thinking
Please
about
don't.
it, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen sooner than what you think. You
Well,
don't
and
want to
then
miss
I have a tactical on this. So if you're a team leader and an ops integrator and you're listening to this and you're saying, okay, I get it. We're really great with lead gen. What else? What I would do is also qualify sitting down at your sales meeting because even you can do this at scale, do it before, but who are your top three A, B, and C buyers? So you're hot, warm, cold, because you're going to be still nurturing those people. So writing
right.
those people out, like that's what we talk about with no agent left behind,
Mhm.
especially on a team model. We want to make sure the people around us are also generating business. That's that production of culture we talk about. And then, so you could use those as tactics on your sales meeting. And then there was another one I was going to talk about. Oh, I've heard success stories from this was years ago, but one of our agents, they had been following up with this lead who kept pushing them off or not even responding. And one day,
Mhm.
5 years later of follow up, that person reached out and was like, okay, I'm ready to sell my house now. So
Yeah.
just, I want to encourage you all, don't give up on that lead that's ignoring you. If they haven't told you to stop or really given that timeline or asked you to unsubscribe them, keep at it, stay consistent because you never know who's going to reach back out to you.
Absolutely. And you know what? Like in that case, you just provided the one that's been following up, the agents that's been in their inbox for the last 5 years, or giving them a call or sending them, hey, I'm just thinking about you type of text. Like,
Yeah.
what questions can I answer for you? And really coming from that place of value, that's
Mhm.
who they're going to go with.
Mhm. Yeah, they're gonna remember you because you weren't being a secret agent.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And so let's talk a little bit again going back
Yes.
to the stages here. So of course, yeah, we've got lead, which is where all leads are going to start, right? And then from
Mhm.
there, and by the way, that's where a lot of databases are swallowed by that stage. So I would really encourage you to look at how many leads are each in each of your stages. I more likely than not, you're going to find that a whole bunch of your leads stay in that lead stage, that your agents aren't moving them, or
Yeah.
maybe they're just people that have not been qualified just yet. So that's a big opportunity. So again, lead is where all of them are going to originally start. From there, you want to
Can I go
decipher.
back to lead real
Yeah,
quick? Sorry, Brooke.
yeah. Let's talk
Should we
about
talk
that.
about speed to lead really quick, just on
Yes,
that lead? I feel like that's important.
absolutely, absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. One of us. So speed to lead within the, what is it, first 5 seconds of somebody coming into your database. Do you want to
Yeah,
talk a little bit about that?
yeah, really, the goal is going to be within the first 5 minutes, you're going to want to reach out to them.
5 minutes.
Speed to lead is going to be, hey, whoever is going to be the agent to call them first and talk to them first, that's who is going to be most likely they're going to reach out to and talk to, not the agent that calls them a week later because they just now got around to it. By then, they have talked with many other agents and are probably already looking at houses and may have already put an offer in on something.
Mhm.
So speed to lead, we want to be reaching out to that lead within 5 minutes, if not less. So as soon as you see that come through,
Claim them.
reach out. Yep, exactly.
Okay, I'm so sorry. So number one is lead. Number two is hot.
Yes. Yep. Hot. So 0 to 3 months. And then we've got nurture, which is pretty much anything more than 3 months at that
Mhm.
point. Again, you want to have those check ins, have them on a drip campaign or e alert, make sure they still have what they need. You don't want to forget about them just because it's a little bit of a longer timeline. And then,
Everybody should be on an alert, by the way, whatever
yes.
they call them in your CRM.
Yes. And then your active client. So this is going to be who you are actively working with. You have some sort of signed agreement, rather you have a listing agreement or a buyer's agreement with them. So in this case, you are showing them homes, you're writing offers, you're listing the property, but you have active client really just means that you are actively working with them. You have a signed agreement with them.
Mhm.
And then you can do pending, I would say would be the next one. So these are going to be your under contract people. It's really helpful for reporting to have that piece to see the difference between, are we active and still getting to the point of being under contract versus we now are officially under contract. Closed as well. This is going to be your past clients, essentially. The transaction's been complete. And we'll get into this, but by the way, you don't want to forget about your closed clients as well. There's a lot of ability for repeat business, and we'll get into that here in just a bit. And then I would say sphere. This is going to be your differentiator for your personal network, your friends, your family, those that know, like, and trust you. Those you'll treat a little bit differently. We'll get into that as well, but we're going to treat those just a little bit differently. So we want to identify who are those personal network leads for you. And then finally would be trash. So those are going to be the ones that are disqualified or lost. And you can use some reason tags behind that. But be careful what you're putting in trash, by the way. Trash doesn't mean, oh, I'm not looking right this moment. That's okay, great. You're a nurture.
Can we
You're a
talk
nurture that
about
you're not
how,
looking at this
I know
moment.
that archive can be one sometimes too. Is that the
Yeah,
same as trash?
to me, I would say that they are very similar. And so that's where I kind of try to keep it simple. And trash is just, hey, lose my number. Don't talk to me ever again. Maybe,
Put a
or
note
maybe
on that.
completely wrong information.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're gonna talk about pawns. You can tell me this,
Yes.
but there really is truly someone that's like, I'm gonna call the DNC or like whoever on you, get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Make sure you put a note on that so it doesn't get transferred in a pond.
Yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So those are going to be, and again, even if they have a valid phone number, but their email is not valid, it doesn't mean put them in trash. It means, okay, we need to figure out what the right email is. Now, if they have an
Mhm.
invalid email, invalid phone number, you've already tried to look them up, you can't find anything on them, which you can go to white pages and things and try to look up their name and find it that way. Let's say you can't find anything, then trash. Otherwise, if they just tell you, hey, I'm not looking right now, okay, great. You're a nurture then, because you
Mhm.
will at some point. So
Okay.
again, those 8 are going to be lead, which is where they all start, and then hot, 0 to 3 months, nurture, more than 3 months, active client. You are actively working with them. You have an agreement. You've got pending, which you're under contract, closed, which is going to be your past clients, sphere, your personal network, and then you've got trash, which is going to be they're disqualified or told you to stick it where the sun don't shine or something.
Okay, so that's very simple, clear, and life cycle focused. So let's talk about, do you want to talk about the most important stage where most leads get stuck
Yeah, again, I think we highlighted a
Okay.
little bit, but the lead stage, you can get down
Mhm.
hands down. Again, like those, this is going to be where a lot of your database is going to be swallowed.
Okay.
Also, if you have like unresponsive or unknown or things like that's going to be where a lot of your database lives, and it's because the agents don't move them. So a lead comes in, maybe they call once or twice, and then the lead just sits there, even if they have had some sort of communication. Most likely your agents are not moving them into the appropriate stage once they do qualify them.
Okay. Anything else on that lead stage? Because if I am an agent listening to this and I
Mhm.
have 200 people stuck in the lead stage right now,
Right.
what do I do?
Yes, absolutely. This is your opportunity to qualify them, move them. So I would, if you are unsure, and it's okay, by the way, there's no judgment. I see this time and time again with, I would say 99% of the CRMs that I review, is
Mhm.
that it's just an opportunity really to go back in and clean up things up or qualify people that maybe you missed it the first round. It's not too late. Of course, we talk about speed to lead. The best time is right now to reach out to them, but the next best time will be that opportunity that you see in there of, hey, we've got all these unqualified leads. So I would highly recommend taking that list of those that you have not qualified yet, see where they're at, start reaching out and move them, put them in their appropriate stages. If they are 3 months out, move them to nurture. If they're looking now, move them to hot. If they're not responding after multiple attempts and months of trying to reach out to them, you can move them to an unresponsive stage.
Mhm.
Unresponsive, by the way, again, you're doesn't mean not talking to them. It means still reaching out, but you're just notifying this is where they're at right now in that journey is they are they're unresponsive.
Okay. All right. So we've moved them. We haven't deleted anybody. They're all in the right spot. Tell us more about the how should they take action on this?
Absolutely. So I would say block 2 hours, go through every single one within your list and ask yourself, have I talked to them? What's their timeline? Are they responsive? And then move them into the appropriate stage. Also move add your time frame field. Again, a lot of your CRMs have that timeline frame or the
Mhm.
timeline or time frame field in there. So again, move the stages and then if you know their time frame, put that in there because you can always filter and look at who exactly falls into those time frames.
Okay, perfect. So once they're in the correct stage, the system is actually going to be able to work for them because we're following a system, an SOP, correct?
Absolutely. And
Okay.
this is now where your smart list and your action plan is going to really kick in.
Okay, which is perfect segue because this is what we're going to talk about in a minute. But first, let's talk about one other stage where people get stuck really quick. That's
Yeah.
the nurture stage.
Absolutely, because this is where deals unfortunately will go to die if you're not careful.
Um,
Because agents think that nurture means ignore them for 6 months, but that's not what that means.
yeah.
That nurture actually means that they're not ready right now, but they will be. So you stay in relationship. You check in every 14 to 30 days, depending on their timeline. You send value and you really just stay top of mind. So, like we talked about, if they say 12 months, it's really not 12 months, still provide that value and you can most likely move that time frame, that opportunity up for yourself.
Okay. And then this is where smart lists come into play, correct?
Yeah, 100%. And if you don't have that smart list or some, I know we have some listeners that are going to be in other databases. So
Mhm.
if you're in Lofty, it's segments, but it's all very similar. Some sort of list that you can put aside and make visible to the agents within your CRM. So again, if you don't have that smart list that shows you who in nurture hasn't been contacted in 28 days, they're going to fall through the cracks.
Okay. All right. We are getting a lot of good information. So we like to be a little bit repetitive so that we're hearing it 7 times, you're actually implementing. So one more time, I want to recap the stages real quick. So our stage rules are keep stages life cycle focused,
Mhm.
use tags for behavior. We're going to get to that next. Move people intentionally, and trash is not failure. It is clarity to make sure you don't get in trouble for anything, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. All right. So the next thing that we are going to talk about is tags. Tags describe facts, not behaviors, because this is where databases can get really messy. Brooke, tell us what the difference between a stage and a tag is.
Yeah, that's a great question. I get this question a lot. And it really, here's the rule of thumb. If it explains where they are in the journey, use a stage. And if it explains who they are or what happened, use a tag.
Okay. Can you give me an example?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say the stage is hot. So this is where they are in the journey right now. They're looking in 0 to 3 months. You can
Okay.
add a tag of a buyer. So this is who they are. You can add
Mhm.
a tag of an open house, which is how they found you. And you can get specific in the tag of 123 Main Street open house. And then you can add a tag of submitting offers. That's what's happening right now. So you can see the difference is the stage is that overall view of where are they, and then the tags get a little bit more specific and add some more context. So when you use them correctly, they become really incredibly powerful for filtering, reporting, and automations.
Okay. I have a genuine question.
Yeah.
How many tags are too many tags?
Oh my goodness. I
I
would
genuinely do not know this answer.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, I would keep it as short as possible, and I can kind of get into the exact kind of tags that you want to look into. I would honestly try to keep it below 100, honestly. Most teams, and that's okay if you're not at below 100, most teams are not. I go into
Oh, really?
databases all the time where there might be 2,000 tags, 10,000
Wow.
tags. And
How?
it happens because when you sign up for new programs or you have new third party integrations or you've got multiple agents that are working in there, it becomes very clouded because everyone just adds their own things.
Mhm.
Most likely, when you look in there, they are you'll see duplicates. If you just type in, if you go to your
Yeah.
tag settings and you just look at how many you have, and you type in buyer, look how many tags come up for buyer for you. Most likely, you've got 5, 10 tags that mean the exact same thing. It's just been different variations of it.
Okay.
So I would say less than 100 ideally.
Okay. And then how many tags I have 2
Yeah.
questions. How many tags per contact should be attached to that person?
Absolutely. I would say I would keep it, you don't want to do too many, right? Where it's
Yeah.
showing, it's confusing to what's happening. I would try to keep it less than 10 for the tags because, again, you want to see that you don't want to use, you don't need to, you have the stages already. You don't need to have the tags that replicate the stages. You don't need to put
Mhm.
a tag of hot and then we went pending and then we went closed and whatever.
Mm.
There, you want to keep it more of those differentiators like VIP client, buyer, seller, things like that, that so you can really identify. So I try to keep it less than 10 per contact.
Okay. And then my last question, and we can stay on track. But my next question is for any of our listeners that are like, oh man, I definitely have more than 100 tags.
Yeah.
How do we clean that up? What do we do?
Yeah, I always tell people break it into 5 simple categories. There's
Okay.
really no need to overcomplicate it from there. So
Okay.
first, I say well, the first category would be system and data hygiene. So these are going to protect your database and compliance. So this is think about bad number, do not call, do not email. These make sure that you're not wasting time or really hurting your deliverability. Second, I would say lead and client intent. So this is why the lead exists. So buyer, seller, renter, open house. It tells you what they want or what their intent is.
Mm.
Third, I would say life cycle and transaction tags. So this is where we're getting a little bit more granular. So again, don't confuse with the stages. This is more of their journey. So if they are, let's say an active client is their stage, you can add the tags submitting offers, if you re-engage, showing homes, getting a little bit more granular with what's happening, even though they are an active client. Where are they specifically within that journey. And this is
Mhm.
really going to help you with that timing and automation.
Mhm.
Fourth, I would say would be your relationship and referral. So this is where you can help prioritize certain people for event lists, things down the road. So think like VIP client, referral, past client. This is going to be where your long-term business really lives. And last, I would say activity and engagement. So again, what are they doing right now? And these should be temporary where you can add them and remove them as things change. So things like now we're showing a home and you can remove that once that's finished. But really helps keep you in track of
I'm with you.
really specifically what's going on with them and more of that granular detail that goes below into the stages. If you're
Mhm.
concerned about cleaning up your stages and you're like, well, we need the showing homes stage, we need the submitting offers stage, consider creating tags for that so you can help easily track that in more detail.
Okay. So you're saying don't make like a showing homes a stage. You're saying make that a tag.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. I'm learning so much. Yeah, I'm always in the back end of like transaction management or listing coordination. I mean, I dabble a little bit, but you're the one who works with their teams on their database, the database and CRM so much. So like this is a really good refresher for me. It's really cool.
Good. Want to keep it simple, really. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the goal. Just keep it simple, keep it consistent. And really, it's going to show your database is actually going to do the work for you. But it's hard to decipher what work it's actually doing or where to go when it just feels like a big mess. So I really would suggest look how many stages you have, look how many tags you have, and that's going to give you a lot of what you need to know.
Okay. If I feel like this is the most important podcast we've ever done because especially if you're an integrator, operator, admin, whatever you want to bucket you want to put yourself in, all three is totally fine. Go in and audit the database and
Mhm.
audit how many stages you have, how many tags you have, because it's going to make your life so much easier. And then think about the reporting you can get to and visibility you can get over to your team leader, CEO, so that then you can actually do a deep dive of your business. This is so freaking good. Like it's the health of your database, it's the health of your P&L, right? So if you have hundreds of tags, go in, organize them into these 5 buckets. Let us know if you have any questions. I have so many, but I'll keep us on track for the next ones. We've talked about stages, we've talked about tags. Next, we're going to be talking about smart lists. These are what tell you who needs your attention today. So this is really where everything is going to come together. You can have the perfect stages, you can have the perfect tags, but if you don't have smart lists telling you who to focus on each day, none of it matters, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And smart lists are
Okay.
going to be really your daily roadmap. So that's why, and we'll get into it, but this is why you want to start with first your tagging and your smart list and your stages and your tags first, just to make sure that those are cleaned up and where you want it to be. And then again, your daily roadmap's going to live within that smart list. They should mirror what your stages are and your recommended best practices. Again, if you're in a different system, most likely you have within your CRM, there's something very similar and you can look up what it is and say again lofty segments and things like that, so you can look up what do I have in here that represents smart lists,
Yeah.
but really you want something that's going to show who needs your attention, who you haven't talked to in too long, and where you really need to act right now. And again,
Mhm.
you're see a theme here, we keep this
Yeah.
simple. I always recommend 8 core lists that the agents work every single day. So the first one that we put together, and these are just pre-filtered lists, by the way. So you can just take a list of everyone in your database, pre-filter it out by recommended by their stage or activity, and then recommended best practice. For example, we've got important. We have an important smart list. And these are pre-filtered by the activity was in the last 7 days of the lead, but there's been no contact in over 7 days. So these are those low hanging opportunities that should be worked first. These are those leads that are engaging and you're missing out, regardless of the stage that they're in, regardless of where they're at. You want to have something that shows this person's been active in the last week and we have not spoken to them and during this time that they've been active.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Of course.
So if you are new or getting back to the basics, because Brooke is giving us the framework right now. This is really good. Are these pawns or are we getting to pawns?
Yeah, we'll get to ponds because
Okay.
ponds will be different. Ponds will be another layer of it. So we'll get into that a little bit further because there is a difference between the two.
Okay.
Smart lists are, I'll put it this way and then we'll get into it. But smart lists are going to be like your non negotiables. You have to do this every single day. Ponds are going
Okay.
to be a privilege. Ponds are that extra bonus opportunity that you get every single day. Um,
Oh. Is a
so
smart list like your to-do then?
Yep, yep, yeah,
Okay.
and you have tasks as well, and I'll explain the difference of what tasks are too, but your agenda of who do I need to be reaching out today is your smart list, and then pawns most likely are gonna be your opportunity for extra lead opportunity because
Okay.
they are not, let's put it this way too, just to simplify it.
Yeah,
Smart
simplify.
lists are gonna be leads that are already assigned to you, most likely they're already assigned to you. You've already claimed them, you have those leads, so those are ones that you are already own and are working. So those are going to be your non-negotiables there. Most your pawns are going to be leads that are not assigned just yet. So it's just going to be essentially your pawns are going to be those that you are fishing for additional opportunities. Most likely, there's other agents on the team that have access to that as well. Sometimes, if you're doing money time, you've got shifts of who gets availability when. But I always say that smart list, you've already are assigned those leads. So you want to make sure that you're working them and you have that priority list from your smart list of who's going to be the most important to reach out to today versus those that you can wait a little bit longer to engage with.
Mhm.
And then again, ponds are going to be your privilege or bigger opportunity of getting some additional leads there. So we'll get into ponds a little bit further, but hopefully
Okay.
that helps paint a picture a little bit further of what
It
the difference.
does. And as you're talking, I'm like, oh my gosh, these are all the things that we can be doing now. Thanks, Brooke. But also, I just want to clarify money time is something we do at Reside. So we're not going to get into the weeds here if you're wondering what that is. It's a pond we
Yeah.
use by one of our coaches, Chris Snow. Okay, Brooke, I'm not going to interrupt you. I'm going to let you go back down the smart list and the 8 core. Go on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, again, the important, which is going to be, hey, these are people that have been very active and you have not reached out to them.
Mhm.
And then you have current clients, which is going to be the stages active client. And it's going to be filtered by there's been no communication in over 5 days. And communication, by the way, means call, text, or email. So consistent communication is going to build that trust, and gaps are going to create doubt. So most likely, again, you'll see a theme. Stage is going to be filtered by stage, and then it's going to be filtered by your recommended communication. So
Mhm.
again, if they're an active client and you have not talked to them in 5 days, they should show up on that list so you know that you're not falling through the cracks. Of course, if you just talked to them yesterday with the smart list, they're not going to pop up because they don't meet the criteria. Contact's been over 5 days, which is great. You're on top of it. That means you're on top of it. If you're going, all your smart lists are zero, that's what we're trying to get to. So great. You don't have any perfect. You don't have anything to worry about there. This is again creating the guardrails so things don't fall through the
Mhm.
cracks.
I wanna
Under
say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, go
I
ahead.
said I wasn't gonna interrupt you. I just like, you're spitting gold right now, and I'm just like, okay, I wanna highlight, this is why you need to be using your CRM
Yeah.
agents. If we can see the last time you logged in, so admin, team leaders, anybody listening to this call, if you have Follow Up Boss or Lofty, whatever, go into your settings in your admin section and see when the last time everybody logged in is, because these stages, Brooke, correct me if I'm wrong, are not going to pop up accurately if you're not tracking the last communication through your, let's just for fun,
Yeah.
like your Follow Up Boss number, right?
Absolutely. So if you look and see that an agent, let's say an agent comes back to you and says, "Hey, let's say you're asking the agent, "Hey, why have you worked these leads?" And this your smart list of important shows, 50 people that you've not reached out to this week that have been highly active. And then you reach out to the agent and say, "What's going on?" And they say, "Oh no, I have been working those. I did talk to them."
And
They're
it's
not
not in the CRM.
either that's not true or they're not logging it in follow up boss. And you'll know the difference by, again, like you said, Lauren, going into
Yeah.
your team settings and you can see when their last login is, and that will tell you the truth of what's happening.
Okay. And I want to stay here for a second. I want to make 2 more points. Shout out to Travis Halverson, who has taught me this. I think it was the first conversion con we've ever gone to. It was Nashville 2024. He was talking about logging in and using the importance of using your CRM phone number, because let's say that your phone just like, you drop it in a sink. Something happens to your phone, it just stops working. Mine did that last year, and you don't have it backed up to the cloud or whatever we call
Mhm.
it for Android users, the storage. Brooke
Yeah.
has an Android. So, like, you're gonna lose all of that data if you're not backing it up somewhere. And you need to treat your CRM as your business, because we need to be able to go back and look at the notes. We can't rely on memory. It's the same thing for admin with your checklists. If you're not looking at your CRM and storing the information somewhere and writing notes, it's the hit by the bus manual. We're not going to know
Mhm.
how to support your clients if it's not in there as well. So make sure you're not just using your cell phone. Make sure it's hooked up to your Follow Up Boss number or your CRM phone number.
That's a great point too, because it
Yeah.
gives you that leverage where, like, say you want to go on vacation. If you're the one that holds all the information, holds all the leads, and holds all the contact information, it is going to rely on you. And you
Mhm.
most likely are going to go on this vacation with your family and be stuck on the phone the whole time because you don't have anybody that has visibility and can jump in and help you
Mhm.
with those opportunities while you're away.
And then my last question, Brooke, and then you can go on
Mhm.
to the next
Yeah.
one, is there a way, because I know a lot of us that are transaction coordinators on here, my mind is just systematizing it. So
Mhm.
agents we expect to be in the CRM. What about admin and their last communication? Is there a way to hook their email up to that note specifically?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Absolutely. And so you want to make sure that regardless if you're admin or you're a team leader or you're an agent, that you go into your settings within your CRM, make sure your email's connected. Again, like we just talked about, make sure you're using that phone number that's dedicated to your CRM, and that will automatically and download the app, by the way. That's most likely a lot of people
Mhm.
miss leads because they have not downloaded the app and logged
On
in
your
on the
cell phone.
phone. Yes. And
Mhm.
so just make sure that you've got all those basic functions connected, and then it will automatically log for you so you can see the difference between when's the last time the agents communicated versus when's the last time the admins communicated. You can filter it by who's talked to who.
So good. Yeah, go into your integrations and make sure that it's there. Maybe it's not integrations, but go into your settings and make sure
Yeah,
that your phone number is set up and your email is set up and your CRM is connected to your IDX because that's how the leads are going to come in.
absolutely.
Okay. I am really now going to stop talking. If I don't, you can yell at me, but I want to hear the rest. And so does everybody else
Yeah,
listening.
absolutely. So yeah, we've got your important, we've got your current clients. Under contract, the stage will be whether you put pending or under contract for your stage there. What's gonna, I would say, filter it by last communication's been over 12 hours because these deals are moving fast and frequent communication is going to reduce the anxiety and really keep deals on track. So that's why it might seem like overkill, but it's really not. Ideally, you should be thinking about your client every single day and keeping them updated on what's going on within the transaction. And there's many podcasts that Laura and I have done that talked about that and reducing anxiety for clients. So this is what's going to keep it in front of you is by pre-filtering this to keep it in front of you to know, okay, I need to talk with them. I need to talk with them. And then hot. So we've got this is going to be your hot stage. And again, no contact over 5, 6 days. These are going to be your near term opportunities. So if you're not touching in weekly, someone else is. They are actively looking at this point. So you should be touching with them at least once a week. Again, if you've gotten ahead of the game, you've already touched base with them yesterday, they don't show up on your list, great. But make sure that we're making sure that nothing's falling through the cracks. I would say qualify. So the stage is lead or unresponsive, those stages that are being swallowed by your database or swallowed within your database here. These are essentially going to be those, this list is going to be designated for those that you've not qualified yet. And this might sound aggressive, but I fully believe you need to contact these people pretty much every day to try to get that qualification from them. So speed to lead against critical early contact's going to drive conversion. And then nurture, I like to break down into kind of two sections depending on if you are using that timeline time frame field. You can have 0 to 3 months or 3 plus months. A lot of you, if you already are using the hot stage correctly, you won't need the nurture 0 to 3 month space, but it gives you that guardrail just in case somebody qualified them incorrectly and put nature or nurture, but it's really a 0 to 3 month time frame. But mainly you'll see nurture as a stage with 3 plus months. So the contact best practice is going to be at least every 28 days. And that monthly follow up is really going to maintain that relationship without over communicating. And then, so last I would say would be your past clients or SOI, which your stage would be here closed or sphere or past client, whatever you have labeled, and really want to contact them every 90 days. This is going to be your referral base and really that consistent relationship building drives repeat and referral business. So, again, I would say your main smart list will be important, which is going to be your highly active ones. And regardless of what stage that they're in, you're going to have current client, which is going to be your active ones under contract, which would be your pending or under contract. Hot would be at your hot stage. Again, make sure you're reaching out to them every week. Qualify, those are the ones that you need to get qualified, and having that reminder every single day just shows you what opportunities, it keeps that in front of you of what opportunities you might be missing out on because you haven't qualified them yet. Nurture, so contacting them every single month at least, and then your past clients and SOI, which you want to contact every 90 days, every single quarter.
Okay.
And really, that daily workflow is straightforward. And so I want to talk to you a little bit how to work them daily. I always tell agents you really need to stick in three places. And this might be a little bit different depending on your CRM, but for Follow Boss in particular, log into your follow-up boss every single day. That's step one. So a lot of agents don't do that. Log into your
You'd be
follow-up boss every single
surprised.
day.
It's like goes 7 days. And then
Yes.
this is actually a really cool conversion tactic. If you have an agent on your team, or if you're an agent that's not using your CRM, start with when's the last time you logged in. If an agent has a ton of deals under contract and their closings and you're not worried about them, I wouldn't worry about it. But for
Right.
the agents that aren't don't have production right now and we're wondering when the next time they're going to be able to feed their family is, log into their follow-up boss and see if they're using the CRM, because the numbers tell the story and you're going to be able to have those accountability conversations from there and look at the
Absolutely.
leaderboard or whatever CRM you use and look at the data.
Absolutely. Because if you look at that and you see that half your team hasn't logged in more than 24 hours, you are losing out on a lot of data. And maybe
Mhm.
not, maybe they're just not calling people, but at least you know that information too. But it might be, hey, they haven't connected their email, or they haven't downloaded the app or something. So you're missing out on so much data because it just lives in their phone. So that's very key, is check into who has logged in. But for agents, yeah, log into your follow boss every single day. Clear your inbox. This is going to be in your inbox is going to live the people that have responded to you. So you want to make sure that you're responding to them and then closing out those conversations just to make yourself aware. I've talked to them, I've responded to them, and you're notifying that. And
Mhm.
then you want to clear out your tasks. So these are the people that you said you would follow up with. So you want to make sure that you're creating tasks for yourself if you said that you're going to follow up with somebody. Like if they said, hey, give me a call back tomorrow and we'll figure out a time to meet, create a task for yourself. And you can get as specific as you want in the task, but create that task for yourself so you remember. And if you're with Follow Up Boss, it automatically links to your calendar, so it's going to add it as soon as you add a task, it's going to create that on your calendar for you as well, so you don't miss it. So really, and then next would be working your smart list in order of urgency. So what we just talked about, as far as having your important and your current clients and under contract, your hot, your nurture, your qualify, your past clients and SOI. So really, it's those three main tabs, and in Follow Up Boss, they're right next to each other. It makes it really easy for agents. Again,
Mhm.
inbox, this is who responded to your task. This is who you said you would respond to. And then your smart list, which is who you should be responding to, who you should be following up with.
Like
And
what you
again,
said you were going to do.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. You want to zero all the smart lists out, by the way, which means that you've reached out to them, you've logged the interaction, and you really set the next step of what needs to happen.
My mind is just full of information. And for any Reside clients or people that have been thinking about it, we have this whole framework laid out in a PDF inside a circle, which is your client portal. And that's just a plug for them because I know I'm going to get
Yes.
asked. And then it just makes me think when Brooke and I are having these conversations, the way my mind operates is in the now, in the moment of how do we always make things better, operationalize everything. And
Mhm.
so I would love to make a course out of this, Brooke. It would be so
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, for our
good.
reside people, it's coming for you. I'm gonna make note here so we can have
I'm
this as
putting Brooke
far
to
as from a
work.
leadership standpoint too.
I'm putting Brooke to work. Okay.
Yeah.
So I know that this has been a lot of information.
Mhm.
We're going to go into the next part. It's just, we're going back to basics. So a lot of us are probably thinking, okay, yes, Lauren, yes, Brooke, we know all this stuff. But when's the last time you thought about the foundation of the house? Right? Without
Mhm.
the foundation, you can't build the roof.
Mhm.
So if you're struggling or your team's not having its best year, go back and go audit your database. Go look at the ponds, everything that we've been talking about. We're talking about ponds in a bit. Go look at your to-dos and your smart lists and your action plans and everything that you need to be doing and make a plan. This is your roadmap right here. And if you are having one of the best years of your life, keep having the best year of your life
Yes.
and go back in and do exactly what we're saying because there is more business and more opportunity for you in your database. So instead of guessing what to do each day, sorry, my mind is just like, oh my gosh, there's so much running in here. So instead of guessing what to do each day, Brooke, what do we do?
Yes, really look in to your system of what's exactly happening. A lot of what I hear from team leaders or operators is my agents aren't working the leads. My agents aren't doing anything in the database. Okay,
Yeah.
before we blame the agents, let's look to see, is it super clear for your agents in your database of what they need to be doing every day? Like I said, if you've got 25 stages and thousands of tags, It's not, I mean, it's not clear to me. Is it clear to you of what, should
Your
be
word.
happening every day? It's not going to be for the agents. They need something to be very simple, makes a lot of sense, and they don't have to they're wasting time, and they're wasting your time by sitting there and thinking about, now what stage do I need to qualify, what stage would this qualify as, what tag do I need? So just make it very spelled out and
Mhm.
very clear. So do an audit first of what you have already,
Yeah.
and identify what, again, how many leads live in each stage,
Yeah.
how many tags do you have, how are your smart lists set up for agents to work in there. If you've got 40 different smart lists, agents are not going to know unless you put a collection of do these only every single day. Like, agents are not going to know what smart list to follow, and they might not even know what a smart list is or why it's important. So you want to make sure you're very
Yeah.
clear
Uh,
about the this.
Yeah, you want to put this in your team value proposition or your standards and
Mhm.
expectation, your team agreement. That's where you're going to build up the clarity. And maybe if you have a team office, everyone, even if they're hybrid, have it in your team's training portal and intranet, whatever you use. If it's
Mhm.
virtual/hybrid, and if you're in office, have the rules written on the wall too, and make sure you're
Yes.
reviewing them weekly so everything is super clear. But I do want to get on to the next part because this is like our review podcast. We are really getting into it and I love it so much. What we're going to talk about next is action plans and automations because this is where, the agents tend to get a little bit overwhelmed.
Yes, absolutely. And they really don't need to be. It's really simple when you think about it. Your action plans are going to be that human follow-up, and you can also add some,
Makes sense.
pieces into it, but automations are really going to be your safety net and your triggers, is
Hmm.
going to be the main difference.
Okay, so the action plans tell us what to do. That's
Yes.
it.
Exactly. So when to call, when to text, when to email, and
Smart.
automations are going to handle what happens in the background. Like, a stage change applies the plan, or a website activity triggers a follow up, or a birthday that you log triggers an email. So I always say your action plans are going to be your drip campaign essentially. So again, if you're in different systems, you might have smart plans, or it's all very similar. You want to have some sort of drip
Mhm.
campaign like plan for each stage. And then from there, you want to set an automation behind it so it just triggers without you thinking about it. So if an agent changes a lead stage from lead to nurture, it's going to trigger that nurture plan, action plan that you've already pre-created in the background. You're just adding a trigger onto it with an automation.
Can we just give it up for Brooke? She is so smart. She's so smart. I
This
am
is
learning so much.
years
I
of
thought I knew
experience.
this stuff. No, I am learning so much. Okay, Brooke, just keep laying it on us. Go
Yeah,
on.
yeah. I want to talk a little bit about some of the common ones you might see. Won't get too in the weeds of automations and action plans, just because there's so many different ways that you can go. Again, try to keep it simple. Do it make sense for your team. But let's talk about a few of them. Like the lead stage, for example, the goal is going to be speed to contact and qualification. So you want to have something like a new inquiry or a new buyer or a new seller or a certain source. So if you know you have a certain plan for when somebody inquires on Facebook or Zillow. You want to create something, but the goal really is with that lead stage. What's going to be that first action plan or first series of communication when they
Mhm.
first inquire, they first get into your database. And then really, I mean, it's day one is going to be calling and texting, day two, follow up,
Mhm.
and so on. So you don't want to let your agents guess what they need to be doing as soon as a lead comes through. You want to create that in your action plan of exactly what they need to be doing.
And it's so funny because as adults and even as kids, don't tell me what to do.
Right. All right. All right.
Give me the roadmap and tell us what to do. I think we hear that the
Yeah.
most out of a lot of the teams that join us and even team leaders that aren't part of us, right? If you're listening,
Absolutely.
I'm sure you're like, okay, what exactly do I need to do? This is how we win the day. If you're looking to grow and you're looking to be profitable, this is the framework right here.
Absolutely. Again, there's just no guessing of what do I need to be doing right now, how often to
Yeah.
be reaching out to them. You've already created that. And another good example would be like nurture. So once they move into nurture stage, the goal really is going to shift there. So you want to stay top of mind without burnout. You want to have that buyer and seller nurture plan instead of like the daily touches. This is where it's important to qualify. You don't want to be reaching out to them every single day if they're not quite ready. But you want to have something that's at least dripping on them every 7 to 14 days or so, because when they are ready, you're who they think of. I want to preface, if they are, I would not recommend action plans or automations with a hot lead or with a active client. Of course, if they're hot, you can put them on like an e-alert, like a home search where they're looking at
Yes.
homes, but you don't want to be actively contacting them with automated messages like, "Hey, are you ready yet?" And you're like, "Yeah, I just talked to you yesterday. We established that I'm ready." I would avoid
Professional, if that's what
yes,
you're looking for.
exactly. With hot leads and active clients, they need more of that personal touch, so I would avoid those. Now, you do want something for like unresponsive or stale leads because the goal is to still qualify them to get them back and re-engaged. So you can have some sort of like unresponsive plan if there's still no activities. We talked about this a little bit. You can have an unresponsive stage, but you still want to touch on them a little bit. You can't chase them forever personally. So you want to have something that's in the
They're
back end, like
ghosting you.
reminding them of who you are and what you do.
Mhm.
That's an important one.
Keep going.
Yeah, just a couple more that I want to make sure we highlight just in case you don't already have this. And I'll run through these quickly because that might be something that's already common or you might already have in
Or
there.
we
Um,
fried your brains.
yeah, I know.
We're gonna do this is what I'm thinking. I think we're gonna get through the next couple parts that we have, and
Yeah,
then Brooke will do a follow-up call. So this
yes.
is gonna be part one. Part
Okay,
one.
perfect. Perfect.
And
We'll finish up the action plans and automations, please. And then next one call, we can go into lead flow, pawns, really where missed opportunities live, and just that we can wrap it up with talking about that daily workflow, common mistakes, and just really putting it all together. If that sounds good.
sounds great to me. Hope I mean I can't ask you all yet, but sounds good to you too, probably.
Perfect. The last few action plans I want to touch on before we move on here, we wrap it up for today. Website re-engagement. That's gonna be a big one. So if
Mhm.
someone comes back to your site after going cold, you want something that's going to trigger that re-engagement plan. So this is where you could have an action plan for re-engagement of, hey, I just noticed that you're back on our site or you're looking at homes. What can I help you with? Or let's go see these. But you want to have that automation trigger behind it of they are back active after a certain time period. And that could maybe that's been 30 days or so. But they're your hand raisers essentially. And if they're browsing again, you want to make sure that you're calling them immediately.
Yep.
The last couple ones here, open house. We want to make sure that open house leads are all about speed and relevance. So it's a great short follow-up plan that you can trigger by an open house tag that will send, hey, just a follow-up of, hey, it was great seeing you at the open house, and just really establishing that connection. You want to stand out very quickly. So it's really important that you've got something behind that's going to be automated. That as soon as you add an open house tag, it's just going to boom, send them that. And then one of my most important ones is that you're going to want something for post closing or past clients.
Yes,
After
yes.
closing, the goal, of course, is to get repeat and referral business. And post closing plans are going to handle the check ins, the anniversaries, and like birthday automations, things like that, where it's
Mhm.
about the relationship, not just the transaction piece of it.
And quick plug, if you didn't listen to our last podcast, we go into past clients and referrals and repeat
Yes.
business. So make sure you check that one out if you haven't.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And just to wrap up here, as far as talking about action plans and automations for today, I would say that every lead needs to just be on one action plan at a time. You don't want stacking plans is really going to create the noise. So you don't want to overwhelm them for you or them. So when the stage changes, that old plan stops and the new one starts. So do make sure that if you do have action plans or smart plans, that you have some sort of filter in the back end, or you've clicked the setting that if they responded to you, it automatically pauses the plan. Or if a new plan's added, it pauses the other plan because you don't want to overwhelm them with bunch of communication because they're going to figure out pretty quickly that these are all automated.
This is your leverage. The
Yeah.
system's doing a lot of work and automation, and there's just so much that's going to come out. And if you're an agent that hasn't gotten to AI yet, I encourage you get into it and you start learning because this is really where the future of real estate is going with teams. So I'll digress a little bit, but if you don't know how to use your CRM or get everything set up, please feel free to either reach out or find someone in your local market who does so you're ahead of the
Mhm.
game.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because automations run quietly, but they're only in the background. You still have to get in there and execute. So yes, you've got this guardrails and you've got the safety net of communication, but it doesn't mean that you can rely on that 100%. You still
Right.
have to get in there and do your thing.
It's not, we've probably heard it. It's not set it and forget it. We got to go back in.
Yeah, it's set it and then do the work.
Okay. Okay. So I know we just talked about, is this a good place to stop? And then we'll get into part two next time.
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, we'll wrap up, we'll kind of recap what we talked about this time, but we'll also get into more of the lead flows, ponds. We'll talk about the daily workflow of agents, what they should be doing, common mistakes, and really just tying a bow on everything and talk more about accountability in that inspection process. Definitely for our leaders, you won't want to miss the next part of it. So we'll tie it all together and talk about the exact roadmap of what you can be doing.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to wrap this one up. And Brooke, feel free to jump in if there's something I missed. But what would you want agents and team leaders to walk away with today?
Today, I would say just be aware. You don't necessarily have to take action today. We'll talk more next time about taking action, but you don't have to necessarily take action today. What I would do is just bring that awareness. So look into, again, look at your stages. How many stages do you have? Do they maybe duplicate each other? Kind of, some of them are very similar. Are your agents clear of what each stage means? And looking how many leads in each stage falls, and figure out where a majority of the leads live and under what stage, and just be aware of that. And then I'd also look at your tags as well. So how many tags do you have? Are some of them just a quick glance? If you do have thousands, you don't have to do an audit of every single one right away. But maybe just start looking of what are duplicates, what ones are only being used once or twice versus those that you use every single time. And then also I would check into your team settings, who has logged in recently. And that's going to give you a lot of awareness in those three parts, just by looking at your stages, your tags, and your team members and when their last login is. That's going to give you a lot of information up front for you to be able to take action.
Beautiful. All right, y'all. So takeaway number one, your CRM reflects your habits. If that is messy, your business is messy. There is no judgment here. We say that throughout the call because this is coaching. This is just having real life discussions on real estate and helping with your business. So go ahead, go clean that up, audit everything. Don't set it and forget it. Number two, we're going to keep stages simple. 8 stages max. We have that lead, we have that hot, nurture, active client, pending, sphere, close, trash. Number 3, we're going to use those tags for context. Tags describe facts, not behaviors. So please use those intentionally. If you have over 100, no judgment, clean those up. And number 4, you're going to work your smart lists every single day. That inbox, tasks, smart lists, that's your daily workflow. Number 5 is what gets measured gets managed. Okay. So we're going to inspect those last touch dates, those overdue tasks, and the stage accuracy. You're going to hold yourself and your team accountable because accountability is the best form of love you can give anybody. And listen, these numbers are what tell the story. So there's not emotion behind it. We can all be going through a hard time. This is the best time to be having those accountability conversations because you want to add to their bank account, not take away from the bank account. And if you're not having these conversations, that's exactly what you're doing. And one more thing, sorry, Brooke, I'm going to just wrap it up with this. Yeah. What I want to add is you do not have a lead problem. You have a follow-up problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
That follow-up problem starts with how your database is organized. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking my database is a mess, do not panic, right? We're just going to get started.
Yeah. Just first step again is awareness. Just review what you have. And then our next episode, we'll get more into the actual action plan behind it and tie it all up together. So it's really easy for you to execute.
All right. Well, Brooke, I can't wait for the next one because my brain is just going a million miles an hour. And I hope listeners, if you enjoyed this as well, give us a like, give us a comment, reach out to us and let us know what you've implemented and if it worked for you. Give it some time too, right? We know that not everything is going to be perfect once you make that one change. It's going to give you all that business immediately and do the consistent actions. But Brooke, thank you so much for sitting down and just giving us all that tactical action items. I'm excited.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining us on the Reside Platform podcast. And yeah, we cannot wait to get the next piece of information out to you. We'll be following up shortly.
All right. We're going to wrap it up here. Awesome. We will see you next time with part 2. Bye, everybody.
Bye.